I have a toothache. Left side, right at the back, 3 days now. And I am not going to do anything about it. Nobody does. It is a toothache. It is the most postponable pain we own. So let me show you what is actually in there. A sealed chamber, living tissue under a stone lid, 2 inches from my brain, drained by veins that can run the wrong way. So that is fine, because for most of human history, this killed people, routinely, boringly, in a column. London kept a line for it, this one. So today, how the smallest pain you own gets into your skull. And one number, hold on to it for me. I will tell you where it comes from at the end. Start with the outside. Enamel, the hardest thing your body makes. 96% mineral, basically rock. It is also not alive. No cells, no blood, no nerve. Nothing in there to heal with. Every other part of you repairs itself. This part gets one go. Chip it at 9 years old, and it is chipped forever. Under the enamel, dentine softer, yellower, and it is full of tubes, thousands of microscopic tubes, all running inward to the nerve, which is why cold water is an event. The cold is not touching the nerve. It is moving fluid in the tubes. That is the leading theory, honestly. Fluid moves, nerve complains. And in the middle, the pulp. This bit is properly alive. Artery, vein, nerve, connective tissue. A small organ, sitting inside a box of the hardest material you own. One way out. A hole at the root tip the width of a hair. Now, bacteria get in through a hole in the enamel. The pulp does the correct thing. It swells. The walls do not move, so the pressure goes the only place it can, inward. It squeezes its own artery shut. The tissue strangles itself against the inside of your tooth. This is the part that hurts. This is where you are now. It throbs because it is your pulse. Every beat presses on it. Cold helps. Heat is unbearable. That is the diagnosis, by the way. And then one morning, nothing. The pain is gone. You feel great. You cancel the appointment. The pain stopped because the nerve is dead. You did not recover. You lost the alarm. The infection is still there. It has just moved office, down the root, out of that hair-wide hole at the tip, and into your jaw. Bone is not a good place for pus either. Also rigid, so it hollows out a pocket at the root tip and fills it. That is an abscess, a bag of pressure inside your face, and the treatment for it is embarrassing. You open it, you let it out. That is it. That is the medicine. Drill a hole or take the tooth out. Either way, the pressure leaves. It is not brain surgery. It is plumbing. And here is my number again, $80. So how did this ever kill anybody? Let me take you somewhere with worse bread. Right, Egypt. Follow me, I am making bread. Grain on a flat stone, another stone on top, and I push. This is a quern. Every loaf on earth was made this way for thousands of years. It works beautifully. It also grinds the stone. Every push puts a little of the quern into the flour, plus the sand. There is desert in the air here. There is desert in everything. So the bread is gritty, not sometimes, always. I take a bite and I can hear it. Now do that 3 times a day, for 40 years. Your teeth are harder than the grit. Your teeth still lose. It is not a chip, it is a sanding. The chewing surface goes flat, then dished, then through the enamel, into the dentine, down to the pulp. No cavity needed, no sugar needed. They did not get holes, they got worn through, same ending. So, the most powerful man in the world, Ramesses II, ruled Egypt for more than 60 years, died somewhere around 90. In 1976, they flew his mummy to Paris. He got a guard of honor at the airport, and a full examination. And the report on his mouth is grim. Severe wear, worn right through. Exposed pulp, gum disease, bone eaten back around the roots, and by the left second molar, an abscess. The pharaoh, the one carved on every temple wall, had my toothache. Now, honesty, because this is where people oversell it. Nobody can tell you the tooth killed him. He was about 90. 90 kills people. The abscess is a finding. The cause of death is a guess, and the specialists say so. But it was in his jaw, untreated for years. And if the king of Egypt has a mouth like that, think about everybody else's. Right 3,000 years forward, London. Every week, every parish counts its dead. These are the bills of mortality. A printed sheet. Causes down the left, numbers on the right, that is all. And the causes are magnificent. Griping in the guts, rising of the lights, planet struck. And every single year, its own line. So who decides what killed you? Not a doctor. 2 women per parish. They are called searchers, paid by the body. They go and look at it and they name the cause. Usually old, usually poor, and they are the entire public health system. In the bill for 1,632, that line reads 470. 470 people, 1 city, 1 year, teeth. That number is not mine. John Graunt printed the table in 1662. Now the honest bit, because it matters. Nobody thinks all 470 were abscesses. That line also caught babies who died while teething. Teething got blamed for a great deal it did not do. So the category is wider than the disease. Fine, but look at what having the line at all means. Not an outbreak, not a plague year. Every year, furniture. So what do you do about a bad tooth? In 1632, you find a man with a strong wrist. Barber surgeon, the barber, same shop. Haircut, shave, bloodletting, and teeth. In that order, if you like. The red and white pole outside is blood and bandage. That is what it means. And the tool has a name. It is called a pelican, named after the bird, because it looks exactly like the beak. You hook the tooth, you brace against the gum, and you lever it out sideways. It works about as well as that sounds. Then the 18th century improves things. It invents the tooth key, which is exactly what it sounds like. A key. Hook it over the tooth, pad against the gum, and turn. Like a door. The tooth comes out, sometimes. Sometimes it comes out in pieces. Sometimes it brings jawbone with it. No anesthetic, obviously. It is the 1700s. Now hold up my number again. In any of these centuries, there is no $80 version of this. There is no version at all. There is a man, a key, and 2 people holding your shoulders. One more detail, and it is my favorite awful one. If you lose your teeth in the 1700s, you buy some. From the dead. After Waterloo, in 1815, men went over the field with pliers. Thousands of young, healthy, undamaged front teeth, shipped to England, set into ivory plates, sold. And they were advertised. Waterloo teeth. It was a selling point. Young soldiers' teeth, fresh. So you wore a stranger's mouth to dinner, and everybody thought you had done well. Right, back to the bag of pressure in your jaw. Pressure needs an exit. It will find one. Usually it takes the easy one. It burrows out through the gum, bursts, tastes appalling, and you feel better. That is the good ending. Genuinely, that is you getting lucky. There are 3 other doors. Door 1 goes down and forward, into the floor of your mouth. And here the anatomy does something very specific. So watch this. There is a sheet of muscle that makes the floor of your mouth. It is called the myloioid, and it is bolted to a ridge inside your jawbone. The roots of your front teeth sit above that ridge. The roots of your back molars sit below it. So a bad back molar drains under the floor of your mouth, not into it, into the space under your tongue and under your jaw, both sides at once. It has a name, Ludwig's angina, and angina here has nothing to do with the heart. It is Latin. It means to strangle. The floor of your mouth swells. Swollen tissue has one direction to go, up. It lifts your tongue against the roof of your mouth and holds it there. You cannot swallow. Then you cannot speak. And then your own tongue is the lid on your airway. You suffocate from a molar. I have my hand on my own throat. You probably do too. This is not a medieval sentence, by the way. This happens now. Before antibiotics, more than half the people who got it died. Today, it is about 8%. 8% is still 8% from a tooth. Door 2 goes up. There is a patch of your face doctors call the danger triangle. Corners of your mouth to the bridge of your nose. Put your fingers on it. The veins in there drain in an unusual direction. They connect through the eye socket, back to a pool of blood behind your eye. It is called the cavernous sinus. Now, blood is supposed to go one way, out, away, down. In this triangle, it can go the other way, back up into the skull. The textbook reason is that these particular veins have no valves. Honest note, some anatomists have found valves in there and argue about how much they matter. What nobody argues about is where the infection ends up, because that pool is not just a vein. The nerves that move your eye run through it. So it starts as a face that hurts and an eye that hurts. The eyelid droops. The eye bulges forward. The eye stops moving. And then this is the sign it crosses. The other eye starts doing it too, because the two sinuses are joined across the middle of your skull. An infection from a tooth, in a vein, behind both your eyes. Sorry, I am going to say that again, because I do not think it lands the first time. A tooth got behind your eyes. Door 3 is the boring one. It is also the one that did most of the killing. Straight into the bloodstream, out of the jaw into a vein, and then everywhere at once. Sepsis, where your own response takes the building down. Before antibiotics, that was routine, not remarkable, not rare. The ordinary way a tooth killed you. And I want you to hold the order of events, because the order is the whole thing. It hurt, then it stopped hurting, then it killed you. The pain was the only part of it trying to help you. And then within about 10 years, we simply switched it off. The 1930s bring the sulfa drugs. The 40s bring penicillin. Suddenly, a face full of infection is a prescription. The column closes. Teeth stops being a cause of death. Except, and dentists will tell you this cheerfully at length, antibiotics do not actually cure an abscess. There is no blood supply left in there for the drug to arrive in. They hold the line around the outside. They buy time. The abscess still has to be opened. The cure is still the hole. It has always been the hole. Which brings me back to my number. Prince George's County, Maryland, 2007. Demont driver is 12 years old. He has a bad tooth. His family are on Medicaid, and they cannot get a dentist to see him. Paperwork, a coverage lapse, phone calls that do not get returned. The tooth is not treated. The infection goes up. It reaches his brain. He has brain surgery twice, weeks in hospital, in one of the richest countries on earth. He dies in February 2007. 12. And the extraction, the thing that ends all of this, cost $80. $80. This is not a medieval disease. It is not an Egyptian disease or a Stuart London disease. It is a solved disease. We know the mechanism. We know the fix. The fix is old and it is cheap. The only part still working is the part where you cannot get an appointment. So left side, right at the back, 3 days. It will probably settle down on its own. And that is the bit I want you to sit with, because when it settles down on its own, that is the nerve dying.